What's poppin' YouTube? It's your boy RJ back at you again with another video. Alright y'all, so now we got why Gen Z will never own anything by Tommy NFT. Yeah, because it's pretty hard out here today. The economy is crazy. It's hard to find a job. Some people think it's easy when it's really not. It's just super hard to find a job, especially nowadays. And with all the prices of everything being so high, it's crazy. But anyway, I ain't gonna waste no more of y'all time. We're gonna get into this. You already know the vibes. Leave a like, comment down below, share this video, share your cool stuff, all that good stuff, and subscribe to my channel if you're not done so already, and turn on the post notification bell. But without further ado, let's get straight into this.
Subscription models were first started as a good thing and date back to the 17th century. They were meant to give an alternative to people who couldn't afford something at the time. In the 1860s, milk delivery services in the UK officially became a subscription service. Streaming services were bought by people because you could access a ton of content without having to buy the actual media every time. And people went in at the time with the thought of, wow, so much stuff, this is such a great price. Surely they won't increase the price every year by 5% and remove every show I like. Oh wait. Yeah, there's honestly one post that inspired me to make this entire video, and you may have probably already heard about it. DoorDash announces buy now, pay later partnership with Klarna. Like, how can you see this as a human being and think the world is doing okay? Imagine getting your car repoed because you were a year late on that Chipotle burrito order you bought one day. It looks like more and more that not only have we turned into a subscription-based society, but we're turning into a buy now and pay later society. Soon enough, everything's gonna have a Klarna tag on it, and you can buy now, pay later. Need to get on the subway but don't have $1? 4 easy payments of 25 cents each. Need an Uber to drop you off somewhere but don't got the money? 4 easy payments of $5 a month. And take a wild guess at the generation that uses the subscription model the most. According to stats, 93% of Gen Z have at least one subscription service. And we're the biggest drivers of this whole subscription economy. And I'm calling it now. Give it a couple of years and we'll be the biggest drivers in the buy now, pay later model. I think at the end of Gen Z's run, just like how every generation has certain things they're known for, we'll be known as the generation that own nothing. Before the subscription model dominance, everyone would save up to actually buy things. If it was music, you went to a record store and bought the music of whoever you wanted to. If it was games, you went to the game store and bought whatever games you wanted. And a lot of times I feel like Gen Z forgets that we grew up in these times before everyone switched. Like, everyone got their own childhood game collection growing up. And it's sad to know, after the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One release, everyone slowly had their collection stacking up less and less with the new generations of consoles. I remember the feelings vividly of going to my homie's house and seeing what type of games they had in their collections. And I understand why people wouldn't want to go out to the store every time a new game releases, but the feeling of getting that game and that saran wrap and the beautiful packaging, it was just better. And I never was one of the people that waited in line at midnight to get a game drop, but seeing the old videos of people waiting for the new Call of Duty to drop or anything is so nostalgic. And people's first worries with digital content taking over for the next generations was that because you didn't physically own it, they could take it at any moment and there's nothing you could do. But everyone thought surely that would never happen, and that's too preposterous, how dare they? Until Sony tried it in 2023. Sony in 2023 announced it was going to remove Discovery Channel content for every PlayStation user's library because their licensing agreement was expiring. And the most interesting fact from this entire thing I learned is that Mythbusters has a game. I thought the Discovery Channel was just lions fighting and I didn't know they had something like that in their bag. And when they first announced it, you would think they would have at least told people whether or not they were getting refunds, but they had zero mention of it. So people got pissed off the fact that they were going to take away the games people bought and not give them a refund. They announced a couple weeks after that they're reversing the decision and managed to update the licensing arrangements. But if they were able to update it so fast, then why the f didn't they do that in the first place? It's looking like Sony was testing the waters to see what they could get away with at first. And I think things like this is a big part, and when people talk about Gen Z as the generation that will never own anything. No matter how annoying getting a physical copy will get, at least you know you 100% own it. And if Sony could do something like this potentially, then imagine all the major gaming storefronts. They probably got it written in the middle of the 1,000-page term and conditions that they could do it. Which is why I personally always read all terms and conditions and length before signing anything. Not risking them putting in small text that they could take my soul in any moment if I disobey them. Another reason on why people say most of Gen Z will never own anything is housing and the fact that most of Gen Z...
Yeah, bro, it's so hard to even get an apartment down there, bro. You paying, bro, some people paying like $1,500 for an apartment, 2,000, $2,500 for an apartment. It's crazy.
will never own a house. I think most people probably won't even start the process of getting one. Like, our generation's already having a hard time trying to get an apartment. Because nowadays, they be requiring you to make 3x the income just to rent it. Just worry if you get your money at the end of the month or not, my. Don't worry on the ways I had to get it. Imagine you're someone making a good salary, like $6,000 a month. You think something like $3,000 a month is good because that's half your income and it's a nice place. Then they come back saying you gotta make at least $9,000. How the f would I be able to cough up that money? I'm gonna have to go on the streets of Gotham as Batman to do that. The worst part about it too is there's not really anything we could do about it. All these massive investment companies have bought all the houses in America because they have unlimited money. Not just in America too, they do it in other countries. And they put the prices at whatever they want to because they could do whatever they want. They own the market. Which is why rentals are such a common thing now. But the older generation will still be like, grr, you doggone kids, always complaining and never working. Just work harder and you can buy a house like me when I was 18. Like, buddy, you bought a house for 2 chopsticks and a penny. Shut up. It took you 6 months of working at McDonald's to put a down payment on that house. It's crazy to me how the older generation still doesn't understand how much of a struggle it is to grow up in this time. They only started to realize after COVID hit and things started affecting them. The older they get, the less and less they want to listen though. And a lot of Gen Z will 100% follow what the older generation says, which I think is a big problem for us. The older generation is right on certain things, but other things, not so much. Like, for example, there are a lot of lazy that just sit down and scroll on TikTok all day and just goon the OF girls and don't even try to find a job because they think things are so cooked that it's not worth even trying. And our generation also definitely doesn't handle confrontations well. But what they're 100% wrong on is the old system laid out for success. Like, in their time period, the things they're advocating for, yes, you could go to college, come out with your degree, and be guaranteed a nice cozy office job with benefits 99% of the time. But nowadays, you gotta be Spartan fighting with your peers on LinkedIn just to be able to apply for a job. You gotta be pulling some tragic levels of backstabbing just to make it up the ladder. The biggest regret I've noticed a lot of times for people that graduated and are in debt and still can't find a job is that they always say they felt pressure by their parents and family to finish school. There is the aspect of some parents do truly want the best for their kids and they think that's the way they should go.
And that's very understandable. But a lot of parents just need to understand that it's not as easy as it was back in their day. And things are just simply just different. Things are just simply not the same. It's not that easy to find a job. You can do all this apply. You can apply here. You can apply to this job. You can apply to a job with the lowest paying that pays the lowest amount if you want to. If you supposedly don't have the right credentials or the right qualifications that job want, they're not calling you back. Or even if they somewhat say, oh, they'll call you back, or they'll be like, oh, is your email and your number the same? And you'd be like, and the next thing you know, maybe a week later, or even the same day that you leave the interview, or right before you leave out the interview, you immediately get a text message or email saying, hi, so and so, we've decided to move forward with our hiring process and move on to other candidates.
About it. But then there's this other toxic aspect of they don't even want to listen and still think their system is 100% foolproof. And they'll never admit it, but it's less about their kids graduating and a lot of times for their ego. They be wanting to flex to everybody what school their kid is going to and how good they're doing in school. And a lot of those kids end up blaming and resenting their parents for it. Which is why it could be hard, but you just got to make the decision for yourself. More and more people of our generation are realizing that, which I think has been a good thing. There is nobody out there who took that risk for something and it failed that say they regret taking the risk. Unless if, I don't know, maybe you try to rob a bank with your homies and you got arrested and got 20 years. Because you could always go back to that original formula and start again. It's not like school is ever going away. Don't get me wrong too, I'm not one of those that says college is useless all the time and you should become a dropshipper on TikTok and be eternally sent to posting ads like this for people to buy. Mustard or ketchup! But something the older generations don't acknowledge is the amount of ways you can earn money nowadays. Everyone knows there's like a million ways you can make money online. Half of Gen Z is also Uber drivers and DoorDashers instead of even having a traditional job, which you can have pretty much zero education to do. Some of these people are high school dropouts and make more doing those jobs than a college grad. Don't drop out of high school though. Pretty much stay your ass in school until you graduate. But
don't do that.
College is no longer
that's bad. Don't do that.
A lot of our generation will sacrifice our passions and just to do it. But even if you do have the ideal scenario for the way you wanted things to go, it's not like it matters because your ass will probably never ever be able to get a house. It's insane seeing the contrast between how much you made back then and how much a house costed. You could deadass work for 2 years with a fully saved up salary and buy a house in full. Gen Z and millennials had the worst time in growing up in the housing market. Because imagine not only having houses double the price in the span of 2 years because of COVID, but also having to balance that with the cost of living. By the way, the world is still not financially stable after COVID, so getting a house isn't even a question for people, it's surviving. Which is why most people are choosing to rent. At least it's more reliable than potentially having to go bankrupt over missing your mortgage payments. People have also been speculating that the new houses being built every year are becoming weaker and weaker. Like there's videos of construction workers showing how badly some of the houses are actually built, and it's insane.
See all these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 houses? Hell, here's one. There's one. All right. I want to show you what these son bitches are made out of. You see that? Better. Okay. There's this. Ain't shit to it. I want y'all's goddamn homes built out of fucking cardboard. 200 G's. 200 G's.
It's 2025. There ain't gonna be nothing wrong with new construction.
I could throw a Hail Mary through the wall of my house and it makes a hole, I know that getting wiped clean when any natural disaster hits. A new house is out of the question for most of Gen Z anyways, but even if you could afford it, that's what you're dealing with. Which is why a lot of people are advocating for people to buy older houses because they say they're more reliable. That American dream of buying a new spanking house after working hard is dead though. Like I'm not buying a drivable house. And you'll be lucky if you can
Yeah, honestly, I'd probably be one of those. When I do, what I would probably do, my plan is I would more likely probably buy an older house, and then over time I would just upgrade it. You know, remodel the bathroom, remodel the bedroom, all of that stuff over time.
Find a job nowadays. The job market is so cooked for so many people of our generation, it's crazy. You'll hear countless stories of people applying to like 100 jobs and getting one response back, maybe. And it's only ramped up because of COVID. Coming from someone who hasn't had a traditional job in years, I remember in like 2019 when I was in high school applying to a bunch and getting denied. But after about a week, I managed to work at this pizza place and get hired with zero experience. It's almost impossible to have something like that nowadays. Nowadays, people are complaining that some internships are requiring them to have experience too. Like am I an intern or an employee? F you mean I need experience? But there may just be one beacon of hope for Gen Z. Hustlers University. Nah, I'm just kidding. Over the next 20 years, Gen Z and millennials are supposed to have the biggest wealth transfer of all time. It's estimated that $84 trillion of assets are going to be passed down from the older generations to us. And that's accounting everybody 40 and below. According to the new updated terms of being UNC status by the internet though, if you're over the age of 20 years old now, you're too old and you won't qualify. This is all counting though if your family does have assets they could actually pass down, which a majority of people might have like a car and maybe their parents' house. But if they're still paying for that shit, yeah, you better run away or you're gonna have to take over their mortgage payments. Or if your family even likes you for real, they could just spend their last money on like some nice ass jewelry and die with the drip as a last A lot of this really won't matter though, because since everything is still going up, that money's probably going to be worth 1/3 of what it should actually be worth. The sad thing about all of this is we all know the system is taking place in front of our eyes and we can't do anything about it. We know the politicians will sell us out with a couple of donos on the table, and the companies can keep doing it as long as it's like that. The only way this changes is when those older generations die off and the younger ones take over, is that we become the heroes and fix all issues, which will definitely happen for sure, because we're the most caring generation. Always listen to each other with open minds. We'll have like 5 solid years before we bankrupt the world. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. I don't want to give everybody a doomer mindset, you know, like there is still hope for things. Things have already changed with time compared to the past. Like we've gotten way better at a lot of stuff. So don't worry everyone, have hope. We got Elon Musk running around with a chainsaw in the White House. Surely he'll do something. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always.
Alright y'all, so that was why Gen Z will never own anything by Tommy Energy. If you like the video, leave a like down below. Y'all already know the vibes. Comment down below what y'all want me to react to next. And let me know y'all thoughts down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you are new and all that other good stuff. And I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.